what is the best 10.3 inch e-ink tablet for you? I've got 4 of the leaders here. I'm hoping that in this video you'll be able to decide whether you want the Kobo Elipsa, which is the newbie, the Boox Note Air, the Supernote A5X, or the Remarkable 2. I'm going to compare them in all these different categories in quite a lot of detail, but I do have reviews of each of these individually if you want to go into more to confirm whether this is the right tablet for you. And I'll add up the scores at the end. I can't actually fit them all on my camera screen here, so I'm going to kind of move them in one by one as I introduce you to them and to their features. I'm calling this is a 4-way quadruple smash of these amazing e-ink tablets. And if you're currently deciding on which of these to buy, hopefully somewhere in the video is the answers for you. Let's get into it. The first category is writing. I'm going to give the Remarkable just 1 point for writing. If all you want to do on your e-ink tablet is to write notes and type them up later, the Remarkable is ideal for you. I'm going to discount the handwriting conversion on this, not because it's not there, but because you have to pay the subscription for it now, and because all you can do is convert to text and email it to yourself. So whilst that's fine, it's there, and it's pretty accurate, it isn't as good as the integration for writing on the other devices, as you'll see. The Boox, I'm going to give 2 points for this, for several reasons. Firstly, you can actually Bluetooth in a keyboard onto this if you're someone that likes to type. The handwriting recognition is not great on this device, however. Although it's worth just saying that since filming this, there has been an update and the integration of handwriting recognition has improved on the Boox. Still not quite where the other two are though. But also, if you need to use third-party apps to look after your writing, perhaps you're using an app to keep track of your chapters and your storylines, then this could be really useful for that. Essentially, this is getting 2 points. It's second from bottom in this category. It's getting 2 points because it gives you those options. So I'm going to give Supernote the second in this category because of the styluses. They feel like ballpoint pens, and the feel of the ceramic nibs on the indenting screen is really good. It's really close to pen and paper, and that's what writers will probably be looking for in terms of the writing feel. The handwriting recognition is pretty reliable on the Supernote, and it allows you to actually create tables of contents in your documents, and I think that's a really positive thing for a writer. The winner of this category is going to be the Kobo Elipsa, so I'm going to give it 4 points. And the reason for that is because of the advanced notebook feature. The advanced notebook is basically a way to create Word documents. The handwriting recognition is very reliable and the corrections are intuitive. I think it's an excellent device for writers. There's a distance to travel, and you can see my thoughts on that in the full Kobo Elipsa video. The stylus and pen feel might not be as good as the Supernote, but it's still a very good premium feeling pen with a nice writing feel. The advanced notebook feature just makes this the best tool for writing. It's reading next. You might have guessed which one's bottom of the pile for reading. Yes, for reading, the Remarkable is once again bottom of the pile. And the reason for that is because it can only handle PDFs and EPUBs. What I will say about it on the positive side is browser plugins are really good, and you can send web articles to it really easy as well. And they come through as nicely formatted documents, and you can annotate on them also. The Supernote is going to come in second from last in this reading category, not because it's bad, but the only app that you can actually use on here for reading is Kindle. So if you're happy with Kindle for reading, then this is an excellent device for you. Of course, it can still handle things like EPUBs and PDFs just natively on the device, and you can annotate them everywhere. So it's perfectly fine for that. The Kobo is an excellent reader if you like using Kobo for reading. So if you already have a Kobo e-reader, then I would suggest that the Kobo is an excellent choice for you if you've already got a Kobo library. It's a nice large size, and you can tell that it's designed primarily as an e-reader because they put the grip bezel on the right hand side. If you want to use it for writing, of course, you can just flip it over and use it so like this. However, the other devices give you the larger bezel on the left hand side, which tells you that they're more designed for writing. The winner for reading has to be the Boox. And the reason it has to be the Boox is because on the Boox, you can have any app that you like to read on. It is an excellent reader. You also do have the 2 colors of light, and so you can have the warm light or the cold light or a mix of both. The Kobo also has a backlight, but it's only blue. And the other 2 don't have backlights. They're not designed primarily as readers. The next one is art. The Kobo has very limited pen tools, and none of them are pencils. And so I think that I've got to put the Kobo in the last place for art. Oops. And the Kobo, people have mentioned, it sometimes is a bit laggy. There you go. It's all come through now, I think. So I'm going to put the Kobo in last place for art. I wouldn't use this primarily for drawing. There are limited pen tools, and it does have the worst of the latency of the whole bunch, so it's going to be less good for that. You can see also it refreshes the screen in its entirety more often, in fact every single time you do an erase, so that will probably stop your enjoyment of the flow of drawing. The Supernote also has pretty limited pen tools in terms of drawing. It's essentially just got a pressure sensitive pen, a non-pressure sensitive pen, and a chunky marker, some different thicknesses and some different tones. There isn't anything that's like a pencil or has any kind of shading or any kind of texture, so it's very limited in terms of art. The stylus is accurate though, and I like the way they've done the erase now with the 2-finger erase function, which is nice for the flow of drawing. The Boox Note Air is really good for drawing. The user interface is pretty clunky for drawing. It does have some nice pen tools, including a pencil, which has pressure sensitivity but no tilt. So if they added tilt, it would be really, really good. It also allows you to store the different types of pens here at the top, which you can edit and save to the brushes. So you can have your own palette of different brushes that you can quickly change to. This is the new Pro Pen 2, which has a nice felt feeling tip and an eraser on the back. So this is quite good. But the winner for art every single time is the Remarkable 2. They just have got the feeling right of the pen, the nibs and the screen. And they have got the tools right for drawing. I especially like the pencil, which is the only one which has that tilt function and that really excellent range of tones that you can get out of it. I do wish they would come up with a larger screen device for drawing, because it could be a game changer. Also, for artists, you'll be very interested that you can export all of the data as vectors. And so you can work up, you can change the pen styles, you can change the pen weights, you can change everything about the design in an app like Adobe Illustrator afterwards. Fantastic. For work then, so the Remarkable is coming in last place here purely because all it's going to do is be a digital notebook, which might be perfect for you and for your work, and so don't discount it based on that. But if you want it to do more, you're going to look elsewhere. The Kobo for work is going to be in the next place. The Kobo is going to beat the Remarkable because essentially the advanced notebook is like making a Word document, and you can include diagrams, drawings, equations, and just free flow elements. You can export that straight into Dropbox and you can work on that later. So it's great for starting work documents. Supernote's going to beat it out though because it has those extra features like calendar and email. So you can use this as a more powerful tool for your work. The way they approach the software on this device and the updates they make to it is to really think about the workflow of a professional. So it does slide in there as a really useful device. It's a bit like a Filofax really. It's got calendar, it's got email, and it's got really good handwriting recognition. No surprises that the winner of this category is going to be the Boox. And that is because it can do so much more. You can have any app integration on Android that your company uses. You can do your email, calendar, all of these things. So it can be a really powerful device for work. The Supernote is going to lose at presenting because essentially there are no real tools on the Supernote for presenting. You cannot share your screen yet. It is in the software roadmap, however, so watch this space. It could be a really useful tool for presenting in the near future. The only thing that you could currently use it for presenting is for being your notes as you talk through on a different device. Similarly, the Kobo Elipsa, there's no way to present straight from the device either, but it could be useful for instance, for starting a presentation in the advanced notebook, because you could make things like the flowcharts and you could then import those into a PowerPoint later. So it could be a useful tool for making the presentations before actually going ahead and presenting them. The Remarkable does in fact have a screen share mode, but you need to use their app for that. There's no way to directly connect it, and you need to pay the subscription model to get that. And it's okay, it works well in real time for screen share. I don't think there's any way to do widescreen mode on it though. The Boox is going to win of these four for presenting. It's the only one that can share directly to a screen, but even that is somewhat flawed. However, because it's for Android, you'll probably find some app, some workaround that will allow you to present to any screen. I'd really love to see a USB-C to HDMI dongle so you could directly share the screen to any display. Really, if you want to present from a tablet, you want to look again at an iPad, I think. Lastly, the design, and this is the most difficult decision because I like the design of all of them and for different reasons. The Kobo is a nice design. It's quite chunky though, and the plastics, although they feel nice, it doesn't have the really premium feel of some of them. It's functional rather than desirable. And also the case that comes with it, again, it's functional, but it's chunky. I also would have preferred them to go with a Wacom stylus rather than coming up with their own battery powered stylus. The Boox is a really slick design, but I think it's a little bit overstated. I'm not a massive fan of the kind of blue and orange look. Again, a little bit of an update since filming. There is now a Note Air 2 Plus, which has a pine green color, which I'm a bit more of a fan of. It's a bit more understated and professional. See the videos here. But it's slick, it's thin, it feels robust. It's a good design. It is a metal construction rather than a plastic construction. Hard decision between the Supernote and the Remarkable though for design. They're very different designs. The Remarkable is a really slick design, but it feels like a tablet rather than a notebook. I think that it is a wonderful design. They've gone for this slender, attractive look. That's one of the things that's made the Remarkable such a desirable piece of tech. But for me, I'm going to give this to the Supernote. The Remarkable feels like a tablet rather than digital paper, whereas the Supernote, the plastics make it a very lightweight feel. It feels more like a notebook. Also, the folios and the pens are all really well thought out for people who like stationery. And I'm one of those. I think the design of these are excellent. Design is a really tough category though, because it's so subjective. Let's add them up. So it's 15 points for the Supernote, 13 for the Remarkable 2, 13 for the Kobo, and 19 for the Note Air 2. The Note Air 2 on paper is your winner. It always comes out on paper as the winner, but it is really tight between the Supernote and the Boox. The Boox is the winner, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the one that I'd recommend to everyone. And I really hope that somewhere in those categories, there's something that appeals to you and that you can make the decision based on. One of these 4 tablets is going to have something that you want more of and less of something that's not that important to you. Somewhere in this comparison, there's been a feature that speaks to you and that you know will integrate well into your professional life. I haven't mentioned price, I haven't mentioned cloud services, I haven't mentioned subscription models, and I haven't mentioned pen latency. I haven't really talked about writing feel, battery life, or many of the other things that reviewers make a really big deal about. I've just tried to break it down into the 6 categories which tell you most about what it's really like to use a device. I think what the points tell you is that the Boox is probably the device that is going to do most for most people. But don't be surprised if I make a kind of comparison video where I rank these devices and it doesn't come out as high as one of the other ones. And that's already happened in my top 5 Eink tablets video, where actually this came out 5th. So I very much hope that's been useful to you. Please do comment and let me know which one you're going to buy. Absolutely tell me why I'm completely wrong and why I should be giving more points to the Supernote, the Kobo, or the Remarkable, or even more points to the Boox Note Air 2. I'm really interested to hear your opinions. It's very useful to other people to read down through the comments to hear other people's experience of these devices, not just mine.